Hey y'all, how y'all doing? I'm trying to log into Instagram here. How y'all doing tonight? I know it is late and you all never really see me this time of night, right? But I just had to get on here tonight, just checking in with you all, doing a little, trying to get some things updated, organized in my world here as I try to reach out to. Can I go live? I don't think I can. I don't think I can. But I was sitting here going through all my files and different things like that, and I was thinking, wow, you know what? It's so much that I've had to share with you all. But on tonight, I really want to talk about. Let me bring this document up here. Let me see. Can I get to it here? I can't get to it right now. I can't get to it right now, but I'll post it a little bit later on today. But my primary focus of coming in here tonight is I got this glare coming out of these glasses. Um, to talk about not quitting, right? I was sitting there listening to different podcasts talking about Shakiri's track meet on today at the Olympics in Paris, right? You know, people were giving her so much crap about coming in second in 100-meter, right? Second in the Olympics. They giving her crap about that. And I was like, my God, some of these people, they sitting at home on the couch, would never thought about running track, different things like that. But the thing is that whether it got to her or not, what the people were saying, or we just don't have the privilege to know that information or not. But the thing is, what I admire about this young lady is that regardless of what the naysayers said, regardless of what she probably thought about herself, she persevered. And guess what? She's a gold medalist. Her and those other three young ladies, like they did their thing, right? And if you really look at the race, you notice that she was in four, right? And it's like this, it just kicked in, right? They had this one shot of her where she's running like she's floating when she's running. But I just want to use that don't quit mindset, right? You know, it's not an option. Quitting is not an option. And one thing that we do here at USOP, which is you're still a veteran, we advocate for all veterans regardless of character discharge. But however, those veterans who transition out the military with a positive discharge, it's not as hard for them to get benefits that they're legally entitled to, right? But however, our battle buddies who get out with negative discharges, to include myself, the fight is real, guys. The fight is real. And so what I do is I appeal to those who, whether you're listening, you come across this video or someone shares it with you, but I appeal to you all, don't lose hope, because there are organizations like myself, My Battle Matters, that's out there helping, assisting veterans, regardless of your character or discharge, to get benefits that you're legally entitled to. I'm telling you, like, even discharge upgrades in certain cases. Yes, I said it, discharge upgrades in certain cases. So, not all hope is lost, guys. And it's so important that you don't lose hope, because even though we are small in number currently, but however, we're making noise. We're out here advocating. We're making great things happen. I'm telling you, the the amount of people who are getting their discharges upgraded, the amount of people who are communicating and with organizations like myself and like My Battle Matters, who are out here advocating for you, getting results, not just talking about it, but actually getting results to be able to assist all veterans and not just some. And don't get mad at the nationally known veteran service organizations, because unfortunately, the founding forefathers of these organizations, they have bylaws that they're binded by. But I'm telling you, when God works, when God opens up a door, makes a way, makes the good thing, the bad thing that was designed to take you out, turn it into something good, I'm telling you, it has to work, right? So, for those who don't really know my story, I served in the United States Army. I served honorably for 9 years, right? And so, what that ninth year, I ended up defrauding the government. And as a result of defrauding the government, it's consequences, right? I end up my accused of right there in Miramar Brig in San Diego, right? And I end up getting in my court martial, my sentence was forfeiture of all paid allowances. I was reduced from E6 to E1. Um, I received a bad conduct discharge, and what else? Forfeiture of all paid allowances, right? And so I thought I had I thought it was the end of the world for me, right? So I did my time, 17 months or a 36-month sentence. I end up coming home and really not knowing what to do, right? Because I'm a soldier. You know, the past 11 years, with those 17 months spent confined, I really mastered being a soldier, right? Being a leader. And so, and as a result, I was lost, right? I didn't know what to do because nothing had prepared me to be a civilian, right? Nothing had prepared me to be a veteran. And as a result of that, I didn't know what to do. I I struggled with depression and extreme pride. I didn't even want to take advantage of the different programs or organizations that's out here to be able to assist you when you're trying to get back on your feet, right? Because I'm a soldier, I can bounce back, I can make this happen. And if you knew my leaders that I had from basic training to AIT to Germany to the many deployments to Fort Hood, now Fort Cavazos, to even working at the Pentagon, like failure, if you got yourself in a problem, you better figure your way out of there, right? You better, but then I learned now, like I gotta communicate with people to get in there. So I communicated with different organizations. I connected with OER, Offender Aid Restoration, in out of Fairfax County. And I tell you all, if you don't have access, if you don't look into these organizations and try to help yourself, because nobody's going to know that you need help unless you try to help yourself, right? But what I found is that even though it was organizations out there to help, but it was more so for the civilian. And mind you, I still had a military mindset, right? Which I found out is something that doesn't leave you. And so with this military mindset, even though I'm in the civilian world trying to navigate, but I don't know how to mirror or marry the two systems, right? And so I find myself presenting myself as Sergeant Martin, but nobody wanted to hear Sergeant Martin because, like, gay chick, you ain't Sergeant Martin, you the convicted felon. I said, so I kind of like pushed Sergeant Martin to the side, like, okay, you're not wanted in this world. So this is who they want you to be, Marsha, the convicted felon. So this is the posture that you have to take, right? And so, by me taking on that posture of Marsha, the convicted felon, what happened was it consumed me, right? Being a felon consumed me. Anytime you ask me anything about me, hey, I'm a convicted felon. Hey, I'm a convicted felon. Hey, I'm a convicted felon. Like, my friend's like, girl, look, it's so much more to you than being a convicted felon. Like, oh my God, And so I had to retrain myself, be like, hey, you're Marsha. It's some great things going on about you, right? And so I ended up applying for this job with Virginia Department of Veteran Services. And by working for Virginia Department of Veteran Services, I ended up getting hired. And I'll never forget Sam Brown. He was I don't know what Mr. Brown role was, but he hired me, right? And he ended up looking at my resume and then he asked me a question like, what happened? Like, I could see that you was a stellar soldier and then something happened. So I had to tell him, hey, I ended up defrauding the government, ended up in a brig, and I was just trying to get my life back together and I just need a job. I don't know where to start. And so he was like, hey, had the interview. I had the interview in October. I think a week or 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, I ended up being an employee, a state employee for Virginia Department of Veteran Services. And I tell you, it was the most rewarding thing for me. I started off as an admin assistant, right? And Mr. Brown's exact words to me, he was like, I was like, what made you hire me? Because I was curious. And he said, who better to give you a second chance than of this veteran service organization? I was like, I thank you. And I'm so thankful to him even to today, because as a result of him giving me a chance, giving me an opportunity, it's positioned me to be the founder. Like always say that God gifted me, you are still a veteran, right? As a result of my experience from transition out, my negative transition from the military. And so what I have learned to do is take the things that I learned in how to lead from the military and bring it into my business that God gifted me. USOB. You're still a veteran. USOB is simply solutions for all veterans, regardless of character or discharge. And what we do here is something that didn't happen for me when I transitioned out the military, right? I transitioned out the military. I go to file my VA disability claim. The first thing I was told is, even by Mr. Brown, y'all, he said, now, check this out. Now, you can submit this claim, but it's highly unlikely that you're going to get service connected because of your character discharge. I was like, no, they're going to have to tell me no. Are you the final say? No, la, la, la. So I went, and Robert White, he was the veteran service accredited claims agent who did my claim for me. So I went to him. He asked me an abundance of questions. Then he filled out my paperwork. Then we submitted it. That was in August 2011. I think August or September 2011. It's August 2011, because September 2011, they came back denied. And they told me, the thing is that caught my attention though was when they told me, hey, Marsha, you have no honorable service, so you're not authorized any benefits. Now, that didn't sit well with me, right? Because I was like, in the honorable service, you have no honorable service. So I was like, well, that makes no sense. How can you tell me I didn't have any honorable service when I served my country a total of 11 years, but 9 of those years were honorable, right? So, which made me then read the decision letter, which forced me to go in and research the regulation. Now, mind you, right after they denied it, I started working for it because they denied it in September. I started working for Virginia Department of Veteran Services in November. And so when I got the job in November, that introduced me to the inside. So I was like, okay, then. So I'm listening, doing the training, listening to Mr. White talk to the different veterans. And I was like, okay, then, but something is not right. So I appealed the decision, right? Instead of going through the regular process, I appealed the decision. I explained to the people that, hey, you all said I had no honorable service, but these are my re-enlistments that I done, my good conduct time. So I outlined that for them. And later on, I will find that what should have potentially happened is that was should have been outlined in the beginning. And so in the beginning, which I would have had a different outcome instead of an immediate denial, right? And so 8 years, 8 long years, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, no, 7.5, because April 2018, the appeals board came back and say, hey, from this period to this period is considered honorable service. So you do qualify under these periods. So anything that was diagnosed, anything related to my health during that time frame was considered service connected, right? And so I stand before you today, a service connected disabled veteran. And it's solely because of the due diligence on my part and not to accept defeat, right? And just like, since we're in the Olympics now, like, hey, in the beginning, like that, I gotta admit that thing crushed me. A lot of people like, I told you so, you wasn't authorized, but it didn't set well with me, right? So what I did is, because of the research, because of the great leaders that I had, from Sergeant Major Wright, First Sergeant Williams, Madison, Sergeant Major Madison, Colonel Fay, Colonel Green, like I had some heavy hitters. You hear me? Sergeant Bolden, Sergeant Stinson, um, Rhonda. She had a new last name now, you know. And so, but all of these, and then I say that to say that because of these leaders and their influence on me, they were like, hey, if there's a problem out there, hey, you better solve it. You go to the regulation. The answer is always in the regulation. But it seems like, because of the defeat, it could have made me like, hey, this is what they say, this is written in stone, I'm good. But I'm telling you, when they told me I had no honorable service, I was like, you better get out of here. I was like, that ain't true. I do have honorable service, and this is how. And because of me trying to prove them wrong, attempting to prove them wrong, I end up really proving them wrong in accordance to their regulation, right? And then as a result, I'm telling you, 8 long years I waited with nothing. Nobody said anything to me, no letters in the mail from the VA or anything. But what happened was I ended up getting service connected. Y'all, it's the best thing that could have happened to me, right? And then later on, once I began to, let me tell y'all about this job at Virginia Department of Veteran Services, though. I end up starting off as an admin, right? And then 2 years of working into the job, I end up applying for to become an accredited claim. 1 year, I end up applying to become an accredited claims agent, and I became an accredited claims agent under the Virginia Department of Veteran Services. So 3 years of working on this job, we had an affiliation with some well-known veteran service organizations. And because of that affiliation, I had to get a green light from those specifically three veteran service organizations. But unfortunately, because of the felony and their bylaws, it prevented me from keeping that job. I'm telling y'all, when somebody was crushed, I was crushed, devastated. And, but what I did, I was so focused on the devastation and not maintaining that job that I missed the blessing in that, right? Until years later, when I met Chief Lila Holly of Camouflage Sisters, right? So I reached out to her because I was in a very dark place, guys. I have to admit it. I'm being honest. I was in a very dark place. I didn't know what to do. I was like, dang, I thought I had overcome the statistics. You know, I was not in a position where I would reoffend. I have a great paying, even though it wasn't a federal job, but a state government job, where I got a 401k, getting retirement, getting paid, getting back on my feet, not depending on individuals to help take care of me and my children, you know. And I tell you, that job was rough, so right from under me like that. And so I'm telling you, I was so devastated I didn't even know I could file for unemployment. But that's how disconnected I was from the true civilian world, right? And so as a result of that, I ended up bouncing back eventually, but I connected with what I call, which Celeste, Abity Celeste, brought to my attention is my platoon, right? And that was a place where I'm an army girl, right? So even though I did what I did, I'm a proud veteran, right? I'm a proud army chick. And so I got the opportunity to connect with women who did not judge me for what I did, but actually saw value in what I had to bring to the table. And as a result of that value, I became Amazon #1 bestselling author. I'm in the process. This little book right here, these notes right here, all the this lit writing here, all of that, like that's my next book. Um, the birthing of the game changer, and I tell about my process. You know, it's three parts. You got um you got about you get to know a little bit more about me. You get to know about me as a soldier, and then the felon, and then the game changer. It's four parts of the book, right? And so I end with a corresponding workbook because there's a lot of things that I implemented in my life to get to this point where I'm at today, which goes to say with the title that I set out to us, quitting is not an option. Quitting is not an option, y'all. It's like once you get yourself in something, it is always a way out. Always a way out. But the key thing is you have to tap into that. What is that way out for me? You know, whether it's negative or positive way out, it's always a way out. In my case, I was drowning in depression. I was drowning in self sabotage. I was drowning in defeat. I was drowning in failure, right? Drowning in all these things. And I had people with the pole, with the hook. Hey, here's your confidence, girl. Here's your self esteem back, girl. Here's your joy back, girl. Here's your life back, girl. Here's your strength back, girl. But I never would reach up for them. I never would reach up for it because I was looking for it to come in a certain way, right? From a certain people. But I'm telling you, this is how strategic God is. And I don't think my friend will mind me sharing this with you all. But Tia Williams, with Tea Time with Tia Williams, I joined the security ministry at Spirit of Faith, which is called Faith City Central right now, and under the leadership of Apostle Mike and Dr. Dee Dee Freeman. And I joined the security team there, and we had to have a background check had to be done, right? So I was like, oh God, I gotta tell these people they ain't gonna want me on their security, la la la, because you know, and I on purpose avoid finance positions because I don't want anyone to think that I'm gonna take their money. But one thing about your girl, I don't ever want to go back to jail again, so you don't ever have to worry about that. So I joined the next best thing to me was security. So joining the security ministry in an interview, I was honest because I didn't want them to run my background. I didn't know that the how intense it would be or how in depth it would be, but I ended up sharing what I did, right? And just so happened, one of the director, assistant director of the security ministry, she had was doing bad checks or something, one of those like that. But she can relate to me, right? And but the difference in her and I, she didn't wear that thing like a badge of honor like I did. So being exposed to her, being around her, it not only showed me how not to wear it as a badge of honor, but how to utilize it in my favor, right? My godmother, Mama Ola, she will always tell me that the felony to work for you and not against you. But I never really understood that. But once I got connected with Tia, it all came together, right? So Tia not only showed me how to live life outside of the felony, but she showed me too how to take the principles of God, the word of God, and implement it to be free from my past, right? And I'm telling you, the best thing could have happened to me. God connected me with the right persons to be able to get me to my point where I'm at. So, people who have been in my life, I don't just have friendships, right? My friends have purpose, you know, have purpose just like I have purpose in their lives, right? You know, but some friends I do certain things with, some friends I don't do those certain things with. But however, those individuals, and they are still a part of my life today in some form or fashion, right? And so, but one thing is that all of them tell me, like, girl, you know, get over yourself, right? Because you are the bomb.com. Like, you have the answer to so many people's problems, your solution. And then, like, another thing that I learned at Spirit of Faith is that, if it's a problem and I'm presented to it, it's presented to me, I got the solution. And that's why you solve, especially in this veteran community, you solve. So here we go, we solve issues here. And that's whether either we're doing it ourselves or we're partnering with community partners, and that's so important. That's so important there. So it's so important, guys, that whatever you do, I just want you to know, don't quit. Like, it might be paused, it might be stalled out, it might seem like it's not going anywhere, but I'm telling you, don't quit. And I preach it to myself too, because, like, even though I got all these great people surrounding me, right? All these great people feeding into me, all these great things happening to me. But I tell you, sometimes this mind right here, this mind, it can get the best of you. It could keep me in my bed for days. It can keep me doubting myself, you know. But the thing is I fight now. Like now, I'm on here tonight. It's midnight. It's midnight. Probably won't nobody see this till tomorrow or later in the day. But it's something that I had to do so when somebody woke up, they hear my voice telling them, don't quit. It's not an option. You might be derailed, you might be delayed, it might be postponed, but don't quit. Stay on the grind. Y'all, I'm up getting policies, protocols in place for us because we're rolling out as one of the new veteran service organizations on the block. Your girl filled some paperwork out wrong through the IRS, and now I had to go back and fix it. And so we'll resubmit some other paperwork. So hopefully that it will be done, completed within the next 30 days. So y'all be praying for you, girl, right? Because we're one of the next veteran service organizations, 501c19 on the block. And I'm telling you, we're going to be doing great things in this community and in the veteran community as a whole. And then over there talking to our active duty members, preparing them to become veterans, not civilians, but veterans, right? And so with that being said, I'm gonna get off of this call so I can go ahead on and close out my day. I got a few emails to send, and finish filing the rest of these files that I have right here. But however, oh, I need this plug. I'm gonna leave this plug out here. I am looking for volunteers, right? As we get established, and then once we get established, then we will be job hunting, employee hunting. But I'm looking for volunteers, someone for media, someone for graphics, someone to do grant writings, and a, admin assistant. Admin assistant, yes. I'm looking for all those things. Some later next week before the 16th, probably by the 15th, I will have posted links out there on LinkedIn requesting, letting you know that these are different areas that we're looking for. We're looking for program directors too. But right now, I would have to tell you all that they will all be volunteer positions until we begin to get more funds flowing in. We are officially a 501c3. Let me see, can I find my paperwork here? Oh, here we go. We are officially a 501c3. Yes. Yes, we're official. We're official. We're 501c3 up in this joint. Yes. So USAB is a 501c3, but like I told y'all, we explained to you all that we have to get everything revised because my intent was to become a 501c19, not a 501c3. But however, on the books with the IRS, we are legal over here. We are already legal, but we're legal now. And so I'm excited about that because we have some great things coming. So you can check some things out on our Facebook page, and if not our Facebook page, but our website. And so our Facebook page is simply I am Marsha Martin. I don't need no business page. So what we're going to do, we're just going to put everything out there on the business page. Later on tonight, I'm going to post some stuff out there about the Montgomery GI Bill. I'm telling y'all, so see about it, it's a way to get that $1,200 back that we invested, right? Especially if you exhausted all of your money. So, but I'll put some information out there so you all can inquire about that. But the key thing is you got to be to use up all your time to be able to get your $1,200 back. And so, but I'm calling on Monday so I can get mine back because all my time has been exhausted. So, and then I'll keep you all updated as I go through the process myself personally, right? So I'll be doing some updates starting on Monday, but I'm gonna put the information out there tonight, and you can go to my Facebook page at I am Marsha Martin, as well as I'm going to put it over there on my LinkedIn page as well. And then probably tomorrow or Sunday, I'll do a live, come back and do a live about it so I can give you some information so you all can be equipped and ready for Monday to call the education department and get that stuff started for you all. So, with that being said, you all have a blessed night. And remember, don't quit, for a quitter never wins.